Hello future people, Jason the Bruce here with Getting Tabled. Welcome to Prepare for Conquest. Today we're going to look at the rules for the Braves and the Blooded. You can arrange your brushes, prepare your clippers and your knives, but sometimes no matter how many tools or paints you have, it's not enough if the dice are not on your side. Sometimes you only have one choice, and that choice is to prepare for conquest. Straight across to the Parabellum website. So, for anybody that hasn't been to the Parabellum website before, we are heading up to game, and then you can find your assembly instructions, you can download the full rules, but for now, we want to go to Army Builder. For our use case at the moment, we are specifically looking at Conquest, the Argument of Kings. First Blood is a skirmish size game that uses the same models. We may look at that at a later stage if there's enough request for it. But for now, we're going to go into Argument of Kings. And because we're just looking at the rules for the moment, I'm just going to browse factions. So, these guys are infantry. They're a medium weight class. And you get 130 points, which gives you 3 stands of models. We're going to march of 5, a volley of 1. They're not really going to be doing anything long range anyway. Clash of 2. We've got 1 attack each, 1 wound. And we've got a resolve of 3, defense of 2. They don't have anything in the way of evade though. They have a special rule of flurry, which we have not looked at before. This stand re-rolls all failed to hit rolls when performing a clash action. That's going to be very useful, especially if you roll anything like me. There's no specific draw event on these guys though. You can add additional stands for 40 points. Now, options. Everybody gets the option of a leader now. This is something that you used to have to pay for, you don't anymore. So if you have a leader, which you will have, then the number of wounds, a regiment with a leader halves, rounding up, the number of wounds it suffers when making a fighting reform or fighting withdrawal. In addition, the presence of the leader allows the regiment to add 1 die to their total during clash or volley actions. So that is going to be very, very useful. The Standard Bearer. Regiment with a Standard Bearer gains the Unstoppable special rule and adds 1 to its march distance. Not the march characteristic. On the second march action, it performs in 1 activation. So if you're moving and then moving on that second one, you gain an extra inch. Unstoppable, this regiment may re-roll failed charge rolls. Very, very useful. Alright, you have additional command models that you can add if you want to. Sorry, I should mention that the Standard Bearer costs you 10 points. So, you've got an aberration. 1 regiment of up to 6 stands in the army may include an aberration. If you do, you gain the Lethal Demise special rule. Stands with this special rule cannot heal wounds. Okay, so there's your downside. Whenever stands with this special rule suffer wounds as a result of an enemy regiment in contact performing a clash action, but not as a result of morale tests, that enemy regiment receives equal amounts of hits to its front arc. Ooh, I think I like the aberration. That makes them much more dangerous, because you'd really want to be confident with what you're taking in there to take them down, that you'd be able to soak up those attacks. Regiment, either that or you're just going to have to sacrifice a unit to it to take it out. The regiment has so if you have a champion, the regiment has the Fury draw event. So Fury X When determining the number of attacks that a regiment performs, add X attacks to each engaged stand until the end of turn. So that would be 1 per champion, I suspect. Skirmisher, 1 per army. Okay. Regiment gains +1 march and may perform the withdrawal action each turn in addition to its normal actions, obeying normal movement rules. I'm guessing that would allow you to charge again the next turn. It potentially opens you up to it as well. I'm not actually sure how I'd use that. Tracker, again, the flank special rule. Regiment containing at least 1 stand with this special rule does not contribute a die to the reinforcements rule if it would normally do so. Instead, the player chooses whether it arrives from reinforcements or not. So rather than having to roll for something to come on, you can just pick when this comes on. So if you don't want this to come on until the second turn, you can just say, no, it's not coming on. When the turn comes that the regiment's class would automatically pass reinforcement rolls, it cannot use this ability to delay any further. So that makes sense. So if you don't want this to come on until the very, very last minute, you hold off and then it comes on at the very, very last minute. I really like that. That could be really good. So the Braves are infantry type. They are also the medium weight class. These guys are 115 points, so they're slightly cheaper. Movement of 5, volley of 1, clash of 2, 1 attack, 1 wound, 2 resolve, 2 defense, no evade. So that's pretty much the same. These guys have bloodlust. When you take an action for a regiment containing 1 or more models with this special rule, and the regiment is not in contact with an enemy, roll a d6. If the result is equal to or less than the highest resolve, they may choose an action as normal. However, if the result is higher, you must choose a charge action if there is a viable target to charge. If there is no charge action, you must perform a march action and march the regiment as close as possible to the nearest enemy regiment by the most direct route. So this is very similar to a rule that one of the Blood Angel units used to have a long time ago, where you had to always be going for the enemy with these guys. Can get frustrating, but it does have a way out for you. So in our particular case, you'd be having to roll 2s or less, which is not entirely easy. So what you would be wanting to do would be to add a character in with these guys that has a higher resolve that they can rely on. Otherwise, these guys are just going to charge straight in. The only downside is that if you have an enemy that's very good, they can potentially draw your Braves off to attack something that they don't have much of a chance against, just to take them out. Like if you really want to take something else down, or you want to use these guys to capture, the downside is that if I'm very clever, I can set something up that's close to you so that you have to charge me, and therefore takes you out of the thing that you're trying to capture. Or I could draw you into something that you don't have a lot of chance of taking out, and therefore I'm going to take you out next turn or something. Shield, +1 defense, but only on the front arc, that makes sense. Support 1. If this stand makes support strikes against an enemy regiment in its regiment's front arc, it contributes X support strikes per supporting stand. So support 1, so if I have 2 lines of units, the guys in the back will be giving an extra point of damage. Additional stands for these guys are only 35, so they are a little bit cheaper. We've already looked at all of those. Honestly, I do like both of them. The big thing with the Braves is that they have the high defense, so they're going to be harder to take out. But I think there would be place for both in your army. My intention is to try, if I can, and put together a magnetising test. I'm still in the middle of testing that at the moment, so hopefully at some stage around mid-October you'll be getting a video of how to set your units up to be magnetised so that you can just use them as whatever. But we'll have to come back to that at a later stage. If you're interested in getting into Conquest or expanding your existing force, either use the QR code on screen or the link in the description to open the Parabellum website, and when you're asked if you have a discount voucher, enter Getting Tabled without spaces, just like you see on your screen, to receive 10% off your order. In doing so, not only will you save money, but you also help support our channel without any cost to you. Thank you very much to anyone who chooses to do that. It's greatly appreciated. You're helping us improve our content and bring more content to you. Thank you very much for checking out this video. If you're enjoying the content of this channel, please like and subscribe. If you're in a position to do so, please check out patreon.com/gettingtabled. You receive early access to at least 80% of all videos that we put out, and you get access to the video edition of all of our podcasts the day that they're uploaded. If you'd like to check us out on social media, facebook.com/gettingtabled is the most active. We also have a Discord server. You can email our team at gettingtabled@gmail.com. If you're on either Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at gettingtabled. And until next time, play more games.